welcome to HCPP 2019, live from Prague. We're back in the fishbowl in the basement again. I'm joined by Theo Goodman. How's it going, Theo?
It's going very well. Hello, everyone on the internet. What's up?
I'm also joined by Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor.
It's going extremely well because we're at HCPP again. We've got an amazing couch set up and we're going to interview a shed load of people.
And we're joined by Paul Puey from Edge Wallet, formerly Airbits.
The day just got a whole lot better now that I've entered the fishbowl. Glad to see and be on the show again with Thomas. It's been years.
It's going to be awesome. We've got 4 microphones. We've got a soundboard. We've got multiple camera angles. My brother's working the board. Everybody in the chat, give us a thumbs up and a share. Go retweet that tweet. Let's try to get some more people going. Just like last year and just like the year before, we're going to try to keep this couch going live. We'll be subbing in and out. We've got Max Hillebrand getting food. Theo's here, Dan's here, the whole crew's here. We're going to be coming in and out, talking to you live from Prague, where a lot of great speakers are coming in. We've got a list of speakers. We're going to be trying to getting them in here to talk to you directly, answering your questions. We'll check in with the chat. So be sure to join us here. Give us a thumbs up and the share. If there's somebody out there that you think should retweet this, maybe you should mention it to them. One of these big Bitcoin people who have a broken retweet button, maybe you should ask them to share and to help the community. I know some people think that Twitter is kind of a selfish thing. I never retweet. I never share. Maybe you should point that out to them, that it costs nothing to share and retweet and help us have a larger community here in Bitcoin and on the World Crypto Network. But we're here to talk to Paul today about Edge Wallet. So what's going on with Edge Wallet? I used to use Airbits. I like the login and the password. It's good for new users, easy to use. You don't lose your keys as often. Of course, there's some trade-offs there, but that's acceptable, I think, for a new user. But you guys changed it to Edge. You added a lot of altcoins, features. I think you have an exchange in there. What's going on today?
Yeah, so the big transition, I guess in some ways people call it a pivot to Edge, was focused around kind of 2 things. One being a platform for key management that other apps can use. We saw that there was a need from other apps, especially kind of in the DApp ecosystem, love it or hate it, but they needed key management. And a lot of them liked not having to write down 24 words. So we made that a platform. And then we changed Airbits as an app from kind of a payment-based app. If you remember, it actually supported NFC and Bluetooth, and it had a built-in merchant directory, which to this day people still ask us about, which I miss, but it's too early. This would be the only place in a merchant directory, right? This place is awesome. You can only pay in Bitcoin over at this place, only in crypto, Litecoin as well.
You and can. So they got me a couple of times already.
I know.
Lunch and sodas. I'm running low already.
I can't wait for the world where this is what you see everywhere, but we're not there yet. And so the mission of what we turned into with Edge is we noticed that speculation and on-ramping and off-ramping into crypto and Bitcoin is still where people are at, but let's get them the fuck off of the exchanges where they leave their money there. And so we transitioned into being a non-custodial exchange. Buy, sell, trade, most anywhere in the world with a bunch of different payment mechanisms, and you never at any point in time after you've done a buy or sell do you ever have money with a third party.
So
that's the key piece.
Edge Wallet's never holding my keys, whereas if I buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, Coinbase is holding it unless I set it up with some weird things. Which
we get all the advocates and the people that run meetups and the people that set up these educational classes saying, okay, go to like the Kraken or the Coinbase, but then, make sure to remove your money. Guarantee most people kind of stop and go, okay, I have Bitcoin, and they think they do. And so our goal is, there's no point in time where you have to do that extra step to take your money out. It's already in your own keys right from the get-go. You can still use a bank. You can use cash, debit card, credit card, but you're never leaving it with a custodian.
Is there a minimum amount you have to buy?
Depends on the payment mechanism. We have some that are as low as like $5. And it depends on the region. So we partner with a bunch of, at this point, 15 different back-end exchange partners around the world for crypto to crypto, as well as fiat to crypto and for selling crypto to fiat. So each of them might have a different minimum depending on what kind of mechanisms you're going to be needing.
Is there a maximum amount?
So there's a maximum on, once again, same different payment mechanisms. So if in the U.S., which I think most of the people in this room are. There's a maximum on buying with a bank account of $2,500 a week.
Okay.
Through a partner wire. That makes 10 grand a month, but there's no limit to sell. So, I hate to say it, but you can kind of like dump quite a lot of money all at once, but it's a little bit harder to buy. And, for those that have been in crypto a while, you might understand that that's because we have a shitty banking system, which is easy to fraud. You think you're sending money to the exchange thinks you're sending them money, but you're not. And so, but when you send the exchange Bitcoin, they know they got it. It's irreversible. Yeah. So they're happy to take as much as you're going to send them. So yeah, there's no limits on sell. There's some limits on buy, and then with other payment mechanisms, they range. $2,000, $20,000 with credit card. You can buy quite a bit. Fees are a bit higher there though. But we recently
you can use credit card and debit card. So even if I don't have money, I could buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Why have money to buy Bitcoin when you can use the government's money that they just keep printing anyway and give to banks?
Well, the money that's free loans. Made out of thin air.
They're just printing out of thin air,
and then we're not giving out any ideas here. But if you maxed out your credit cards and then you didn't want to pay them and you ended up with Bitcoin, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if things go right. I mean, if they go wrong, it's going to be really bad.
It could go really bad.
But it's up to you at your own risk, of course.
There may be some slight risk involved.
Just a little.
I mean, that's not much different than this thing called leverage. You're basically taking out a loan.
Can you do a recurring buy?
At this point, no. Although we do have a upcoming partner based out of kind of like New Zealand, Australia area that does have that if we integrate, then people will be able to do a recurring buy. So we are a bit limited being a non-custodial solution. Mm-hmm. This is a bit of the trade-off, is that we can't go and initiate a buy for a user. So our back-end exchange partners have to already have that set up in their system, and then you just turn it on, and then we could do that. And that's still limited to only certain parts of the world, such as the US, where we are really lazy about payments. We just don't want to deal with it, which is why we do recurring stuff like our gym membership and porn. Just take the money out of my account and I'll sue you later if you took too much out.
There you go.
Most parts of the world, you actually have to send money. You log into your bank, you send money. So recurring buys don't work in those parts of the world.
Because it seems like you've got part of the pain going away. Because I just heard someone saying, we tell everyone to buy Bitcoin, but then we say, but you don't leave it on the exchange. And they're like, what does that mean? And then we tell them to dollar cost average, and that's really complicated. So at least with Edge, you could buy it and not leave it on the exchange by default.
Right.
And then you still have to kind of log in every week or every month if you want to dollar
cost average.
If
you want to do it, yeah. So we are pushing hard on our partners that have pull mechanisms, such as bank transfers in the U.S., ACH bank transfers. We're pushing on them pretty hard to enable the dollar cost averaging and recurring buys, subscription buys, because it's a pretty big demand and it's just a good recurring, revenue stream.
Well,
so
it's that smart thing where it's like, everyone says dollar cost averaging, but no one does it. But if you set it up and you buy $20 a week or whatever, you're going to get the average price of Bitcoin, whether it's up or down. It's generally going to average out. So it is the best strategy, we think.
What about PayPal integration? Because can't you do recurring payments and it's kind of an international thing?
So you can with PayPal. Admittedly, the payment mechanisms are limited by our partners. But we partner with a ton, but none yet support PayPal because PayPal also is very reversible. Mm-hmm. So they've at least figured out credit cards and the heuristics for fraud detection with credit cards. PayPal probably has more complicated heuristics, and so none of our partners yet support it, but we're definitely hunting them down.
Well, and PayPal is very unpredictable. They love to freeze your account at any time for any reason, and you'll never get your money back.
Not just freeze. But just cancel. I am one of the victims of PayPal just for no reason. They won't even say why. Canceling my account and I cannot be paid with PayPal.
I'm pretty sure they gave me a 6-month hiatus after I sold some Bitcoin on there very early. And then they claimed that their account was hacked and then they reversed the payment. And then I lost both the money and the Bitcoin. And I never did that again. That was a stupid thing.
Oh, that sucks. Luckily, I didn't lose any money. But I just simply got the account shut down. I had to wait forever to get the money that I had in there back.
That's not fair.
And the irony of it was too is I had a PayPal credit card, and I couldn't pay the credit card because the only way to pay the credit card was to log into my PayPal account, and I couldn't log into it. So then they got me for not paying a credit card.
Of course, late fee.
Yeah, basically late fee, and I just didn't pay it, and eventually I negotiated to the point where I only had to pay half of the actual balance because I bitched so much about I couldn't even log into the account, and they held my money. So fortunately, I made out in the end, better off.
It's a good lesson. You have to
Just
negotiate.
stay the fuck away from PayPal. Just stay away from
get
PayPal.
Theo in
yeah,
here.
I just wanted to ask a question. So I think that there are other projects or other things that want to build wallets and so on, and it's kind of hard to have a business plan for it to monetize a wallet because it's just a wallet. It doesn't really make money. So I wanted to know, because you did Airbits, now it's called Edge. What kind of business plans do you think work for wallets? And you said you have partners. It's not custodial, but you have partners. So you have a commission or what can you tell us about your business plan that's worked? And also since we're at the Hackers Conference, what's your policy on, kind of related to that, what's the policy on the wallet collecting any personal data related to that?
Love those questions. So we first entered the wallet space for payments. And so the monetization would have been actually going and actually paying merchants. So as an example, not that I'm a huge fan of this project, but BitPay has partnerships with wallet companies such that when people use the wallet, they actually will give a kickback. And so we saw that even early on as being a potential for wallets to actually make revenue in a system where we're making a lot of payments to merchants as you would with a credit card. But as we know, that just didn't come to fruition, right? No one's using crypto to pay at this point. But people are definitely still on-ramping and off-ramping to and from crypto. And so hence the reason why we moved into the exchange space. And so we don't even really call Edge a wallet anymore. We call it a non-custodial exchange. And
so
there's a clear
small
monetization.
cut off of the exchanges when people buy and sell, something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So we split the fees with our exchange partners.
Great.
So that's a pretty straight, obvious revenue model. Sure. As Edge, we happen to have a secondary revenue model, which is licensing. Since we have this unique key management architecture, we license that to other apps that want to be able to use that. And so that's kind of a second stream, which is a bit more unique to us.
I think you did something like that with Augur, I think.
Exactly. So Augur, we have a couple of different licenses. They use a non-recurring license, a non-recurring fee license. So they integrate our SDK into Augur, into the app, so that when you create your Augur account or wallet, you don't actually have to create additional keys. You just simply create a username and password. Or even better, you can single sign on with Edge. So you can take Edge, scan a barcode on Augur, it creates your Ethereum wallet private key, it automatically encrypts it, backs it up, and then inside the Edge app, you actually see your balance of Ethereum and rep tokens.
And you could also buy the Ethereum and then put it into rep and then do the prediction marketing on
you can
Augur.
do,
I don't want to say gambling. Prediction marketing, of course. But
all financial services are gambling. They're just all bets.
Don't
That's
tell
my
the stock
take.
market that.
That's all they are. They're all bets. Insurance is a bet that you just don't want to win.
Theo? 100% leverage.
100%. Yeah,
Just another bet.
Just use your credit cards, like we were saying. That's a good. I mean, credit cards is probably similar to the overnight funding of margin trading in the crypto market. I don't know the actual rates.
Leverage is just, hey, Visa, do you take MasterCard? That's all it is.
Well, I mean, leverage is not bad. Well, without leverage, there wouldn't be any insurance. Because how would you pay for that? It would be insane.
Yep.
So.
That's all. It's just another financial product. And so when they like you doing it, they give it cool names like hedging. When they don't like you doing it, they give it names like gambling. But it's just another financial product, But you had a second question, which
I was just like, well, so I mean, it was about what the
personal information
wallet's policy is regarding to collecting any user data.
Got it.
Because when the reason is because if it's an app and it's on your phone, it collects a lot of data, and if you're connecting merchants and partners and so on, they want to know who they're dealing with and so on. So it's an ongoing topic.
So I'll preface first with the entire app is open source, so everything I say can be validated if you guys want to look at the code, and everyone can look at the code, because people do ask that question. Second, the data we collect, if you actually use the application, until you go and do any exchange functionality, there's absolutely no personal information that is asked of the user. There's no phone number, email address, name. It's just username, password. You can make it up whatever you want it to be. As soon as you want to do some exchange functionality, if you do crypto to crypto, by default, there's no personal information asked. You may be asked for personal information depending on which which provider gets chosen. We do best price hunting across a bunch of crypto to crypto partners. Some of them don't ever ask, some of them may. So that's kind of a next phase in asking for info. And Edge never sees any of that, right? This goes directly to the exchange partners. If you do fiat to crypto, almost certainly you're going to get asked for some KYC information, with the exception of a major announcement we just made this week. So just this week, a couple days ago, we announced a new fiat to crypto buy-sell partner in Europe that lets you do 5,000 Swiss franc equivalent anywhere in Europe, euro or Swiss franc, buy or sell Bitcoin with absolutely no KYC.
And that's 5,000 per day.
Per day.
Per day.
Per day.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the kind of limits that I need.
Exactly. I wish we had it in the U.S., admittedly. And transactions settle in a day.
So everyone watching, we need to get the donations going so Thomas can test this out.
Obviously,
if he can hit the limit.
He can hit the limit.
Yeah, so
I'm going to need at least $5,000 a day.
Equivalent, well, it's actually 5,000 Swiss francs, which is about 5,000 euro.
It's actually about exactly.
right?
Actually, it's exactly $5,000 right now.
It
the
is
Swiss
right-
franc
okay,
to
it
the
is right
dollar
now?
is exactly
Wow.
a dollar, like down to the penny
Because
when I did
that's
last
why,
checked.
because everyone might be confused because you think Swiss franc is worth a lot more, but it's really stable.
It's pretty
That's
stable.
a little joke because they had a real big flash crash years ago, so it was like
They did-
destroyed way more lives than anything in crypto. But anyway, long story
So
short.
to fully answer your question, we strive to not collect any personal information as much as possible. So even when you provide any personal information, none of that ever comes to Edge. And even when the app asks for information, so one of the things people sometimes notice is the app will say, "Hey, can we access your account, your contact list?" And they freak out, especially the anarchists and the cypherpunks.
Yeah.
But what I think the world has forgotten is that when an app has access to your information, doesn't mean the company does. So our app asks for a contact list, and it's totally optional, just to make it easier for you to literally tag your transactions with information as to who you sent and received money to. And all of that information is client-side encrypted and no one sees it but the end user. Edge doesn't see it.
See, that's much better than Facebook, where all my friends uploaded their address books.
Yeah, and you're
Facebook has
fucked.
all of them. Then they cross-referenced them, and they have this little spot where they're like, this is where you fit.
Exactly.
So I was like,
So-
well, I may as well use Facebook anyway.
Like-
My friends have already uploaded their address
Your
books.
friends have already doxed you, so
Yeah,
well,
pretty
heck, you might
much.
as well.
I was like, I'm losing by not being a part of
Yeah,
this
I don't.
network.
I mean, that's
so.
true. I mean, I'm not even sure. I'm not sure if Signal even asks to use your contacts, but I
It
mean,
does.
even right because I mean,
That's how it
how do you
connects
know
your phone
it
number to
automatic-
other
of course.
people that you
So-
know.
But I mean, that's a messaging app, so that makes sense. So people are usually not so freaked out by that.
I mean, it is.
It's
it does
good that
give
people
up.
are freaked out when it asks you stuff. That's good, but I agree. It's tough for.
I think
Well,
we might
no,
be the only app in the world that asks for your contacts, where the contacts don't actually leave the phone. I don't know of a single
Somehow you have
other
to
app.
find a way to explain
So-
that in the prompt.
know,
Because
it's a
we're
really
so
tough
used
thing
to
to
this
explain,
like
yeah.
creepy address book thing where they
Yeah.
want the whole thing, you know.
Well,
and-
they're used to the concept of this permission is me giving permission to the company, not to the app.
the app.
And those are two
Yeah.
different things, and people just don't get that those are two different things.
I think that the distinction could probably be useful for videos, for pictures, because people might actually think that the company has access to that data.
Oh yeah, same thing with the photos. So when you ask for access to photos and camera, it's not that we stream the camera to our servers or get the photos. I mean, you need that just to be able to take a snapshot using like QR code scanner.
Sure,
needs access
sure.
to your
So
camera.
all this stuff you can. I mean, we could check. If it does do the live stream thing on the because you said it's open source.
Yeah, it's
so we
open
can
source.
verify
Yeah.
there. And related to that, in this whole discussion is because I'm interested. Like, let's say I'm a company or I'm making an app, and I want to also have these kind of privacy standards, but I still want to be, earn commission when I have a partnership. But how do I know that the trade that went through? I just get a signal that it came from an identifier that it came from an Edge wallet, so I know that's your lead essentially.
Got it.
Or
So,
how
like, how do we keep
'cause
our
typically
exchange
it's like
partners
affiliate
trustworthy?
cookies and all that stuff.
Right. How do you
know what I
keep an
mean?
exchange partner
Exactly.
trustworthy? And so the way you align incentives is through reporting of transactions from the exchange reporting transactions to us that are generated through our user base. And if you know a time and an amount that a transaction occurred, now we can't validate that every single transaction went through them, but they're forced to be honest, because one of them could have been one that we tested. So heck, I do a transaction, I go and turn, I buy 1 Bitcoin. If suddenly their reporting tool doesn't show that transaction, well, then suddenly they're a little bit less trustworthy to us. Without us having to do any tracking in the app, we can keep them honest. I think that's an important piece of the reporting, which is what we ask out of our exchange partners is, heck, we'd like a list of all the transactions that occurred through our app. We don't want to know who they are. We don't want to know anything about them.
They just have an identifier that it's from an Edge app
It's
somewhere.
an identifier from an Edge app. We know an amount and a date and time.
Okay.
And that's it.
And without going into too many details, have any exchanges kind of tried it? Tried to pull a fast one?
I think it's less that they try to pull a fast one, but they just had simple issues on their end. Like we just would see a sudden drop in the reporting exchange volume, and we're like, something looks wrong here. And we'd ping them and go, we're having an issue right now with our reporting tool, and suddenly all the historical ones will come back up. So in all of our testing, everything that we've done has always shown up. So far, no. And I think that, we're working with reputable companies. A lot of them we've known even before we partnered with them. So it's been a good relationship.
And so what are you working on lately? You said you had a new announcement, things you want to tell the people about?
The announcement was the no KYC. That's a big one.
No KYC in
no
Europe.
KYC in Europe. And so obviously we'd love to extend that outside of Europe, but for now it's in Europe. Buy Bitcoin, 5,000 Swiss franc equivalent per day from your bank account, which usually that's when, as soon as it goes bank account, they're going to have to go KYC. But yeah, from your bank account with no KYC. And we've been announcing this here and there, and it's had hugely positive reception. Like people are blown away. I see eyeballs open up when I present at meetups, and they're like, "How in the world?"
Well, now
But
most of the
cool.
Bitcoin ATMs require a license. Now at this point, you have to hold up your driver's license.
Yep, driver's license, and at minimum they need a phone number for small amounts in the U.S. At least they need a phone number. That phone number gets quite a bit of KYC in and of itself. And that's just another piece of information that company has to hold. Here, you're basically just sending a bank transfer. And the argument here as to why we're not needing to collect KYC and our exchange partner doesn't have to is that the bank's already done it, right? Every bank account is KYC'd. And so why keep that information with any additional party, which just puts your information at further risk, right? Like it's another party that can get hacked and take your personal information and get put on the dark web and get identity theft, blah, blah, blah. And it just sucks as a user experience, like typing all that in. So under that premise, it actually makes sense. I don't think any bank purchase or sell anywhere in the world of crypto should actually require KYC other than for fraud detection, which is mostly just the US.
And what is that service under the Edge umbrella, or is it, what's the service called?
So all of it's under Edge. So you just go into Edge and you click buy Bitcoin, buy cryptocurrency, and you say where you are, if you're France, Italy, Germany, whatnot. It'll give you some options of what payment methods are supported. This is specifically for the SKYPE bank transfer payment mechanism, and that uses a partner called Biddy. And so they're a partner out of Switzerland. They service the entire European region. They've been working on this for a couple of years. It's fully licensed and regulated, and they're able to do this no KYC transfer. So yeah, it's an awesome service. They've done a great job. We actually had to do a few things on the technical side to make it possible, but we're happy to get it on board.
So there's no KYC, but it would be linked to your bank account or your credit card, or maybe your buddy's bank account or your buddy's credit card. So that would probably be a tax liability. But what would be the major advantages for a user using this system? So
the major advantage of not having to provide KYC are number one, security, and number two, just simply user experience. Right? People hate having to enter their personal information, take a selfie with your other hand holding up an ID next to your face, and hold up a letter saying, I authorize Kraken to take money out. All that bullshit. You get rid of it all.
Well, and especially if you're telling them to just try it for $20.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a non-government cryptocurrency and all these things. And then you're like, non-government, but you need a driver's license to do it.
Exactly. So it's just, it's removing a lot of the friction involved in buying crypto at those specific amounts from a bank account, which admittedly a lot of people have bank accounts, and so they want to buy it from their bank account. And even if you're doing a recurring buy, it's still a convenient place, and it's actually a pretty good amount. And the fees are actually really reasonable, 0.8%, way lower than Coinbase.
Now, the other previous non-KYC options would be things like local Bitcoins, but local Bitcoins isn't even very local anymore. You can't even do direct person-to-person trades. And like you say,
has it really happened? You can't do local person-to-person trades?
In US, I think.
Maybe in the US.
In the US, got it.
Or Germany, it's not. It's
Germany's always been gone,
Well, not always.
You had to use the mycelium wallet thing.
No, I thought they did KYC now.
I
maybe
think
they're
it's
starting
locked up
to.
pretty
there-
tight over
I
there.
think there's different. Yeah, there's different
Could be
levels.
country by
yeah,
country.
I know they're
true.
opening-
They introduced a type of KYC.
I know they're
yeah.
opening up local Bitcoins US, almost kind of like how Binance is having like a Binance.us. I think local Bitcoins is going through the efforts and figuring out what's necessary to open up in the US, and it'll probably
would it
be
go
heavily
back to the
KYC'd.
old way where you could meet the people? Because it seemed like that whole matching, at least in the U.S., the matching system is gone. And of course,
No,
that
no,
was
yeah.
a huge
Didn't do
that
that
was a huge
anymore.
problem because once you meet that guy, then you just give him $10 more, and he gives you $10 more, and pretty soon you're not even using local Bitcoin. So I could see
Right,
how it'd be
exactly.
a huge problem for them.
It's a problem for them, although I think there's still enough volume for them to be interested. I mean, clearly there was enough volume for them to be interested in because they're going through all this effort to actually get back into the U.S. And I'm in close contact actually with their primary legal counsel is trying to get them back in. So
Interesting.
we may see them in the near future.
I see how it goes. I hope it becomes local again.
So-
the name is very confusing to me now.
So if I have a I don't know, a project, let's say I have a game or a new prediction market or I don't know, whatever, exchange, etc. What's the advantage? How do I partner with you? Or what's the advantage, or what would be the other option? Like you said, the license thing.
We're talking
like
about the key management.
yeah, like let's just say I'm making, I have Theo's prediction market new
New
app.
DApp,
Theos.
New
competitor,
DApp. Yeah,
right.
you can use Theo's token, for example.
the Theo tokens.
Yeah, that exists on Bitcoin Crops. It's actually a real token. There's only 999, so act now. Shoot me a PM.
But they got 6 quadrillion decimal places,
yeah,
right?
yeah. No, it's non-divisible.
Non-divisible. Ooh, it's like Berkshire Hathaway.
It's actually non-divisible.
Valuable. You're worth
It's a
100.
counterparty token on Bitcoin. So
Scarce. Very
it's scarce, and it's the most cherished collectible in Bitcoin Crops.
And each one is non-fungible.
That we could discuss
Theo
what that
1,
means.
Theo 2,
but
Theo 3.
That's not exactly true. That's actually 999. It's actually
Specifically.
999 of the same one.
So,
But
so to ask a question, like, when you're
speaking
building
of
it,
that, let's
It's a
say
good
I
question,
have
good
then
question.
Theo's Casino, or Theo. In some jurisdictions, that's fine.
Yeah, you could
let's
say that.
Yeah, and I want to do a partnership with you, like that. You can oh, now you bought Bitcoin. Don't you want to go to Theo's Casino? Or like maybe I have Theo's Casino, but I don't really have a good wallet solution or a key solution. I
Really,
wanna
that's
make
the key piece.
I don't want to do custody,
if you
so I can use I can use your technology
Right.
somehow.
So if you don't want to do custody and you don't want your users to have to first both go to your website or download your app and then have to go and install something like MetaMask into their browser and then create the keys and back up the keys just to be able to use your casino, instead of doing all that, you use the Edge SDK inside of your app. And when they go to your app, they just create an account as they normally would. And it would just feel like creating an account. They may still need to get crypto into it, or maybe they can win crypto right into those keys. But the beauty of that is we can also market to the user base that already is Edge to say, hey, you already have an account with Edge. Why don't you try this cool new app? And you don't have to create a new account. You just tap a button if it's mobile, scan a QR code if it's on your laptop, and that creates their wallet inside of the Theo Casino, automatically encrypts it and backs it up, and then they see their Theo balance, however many of the 999 Theo tokens they could possibly win.
Right.
They'll see that inside of Edge alongside their Bitcoin balance.
Okay.
And then maybe you can convince an exchange like a Shapeshift or Changelly to support it. They can even go and take their Theo tokens and sell that into Bitcoin.
Okay, cool. You spoke about NFTs. So has anyone ever approached you about doing that, supporting that in your wallet? I mean, that could be potentially a lot of balances, but
Yeah,
if you already,
there's it's almost never ending that they ask us about support of NFTs in the wallet.
Really?
Actually,
Okay,
you're not
wow.
the first one. You're not even the 10th one, and
Wow,
so
okay.
it's commonly asked. Although with the definition of our product as being a non-custodial exchange, we want to find a good partner that integrate to actually do the exchange part.
Okay.
And that's the thing that would be missing. Otherwise, we would be an NFT kind of wallet, which isn't what we're trying to be.
Okay.
As well, NFTs are a bit weird because the user experience of a generic NFT app wallet is a little odd because each NFT should almost have their own app. Like you want the app that highlights, for example, a classic NFT use case, tickets, events,
Okay.
where you want to be able to see, hey, where's my seat within that event? What does it look like inside of this stadium? That to me would be highlighting the NFT and what it's really good at. You got a crypto kitty. What does it look like? Can I rotate it in 3D? Right? It's a baseball
That
card.
makes
What
it
does
more
that look
valuable.
like? And that
Well, I
versus
thought of it
just
like
something
as
that
an Edge
holds it.
sticker book. and I have all the NFTs, and it's
Yeah,
like my thing.
you are able to at least see like one simple 2-dimensional image, and that's kind of standardized. But anything more complicated than that, or more custom tailored than that, just doesn't fit it nearly as well.
Okay.
But we're looking at it. It's not super high on the priority, but in the meantime, just good old cryptocurrency.
And you guys also have altcoins on Edge as well?
Yep.
And
of
can
course.
people buy those directly with the credit cards, or they have to go through Bitcoin first?
Mostly they have to go through Bitcoin.
Oh,
for
I
sure.
like that.
But
I
there are
wasn't
some
expecting
partners that
but I
support
like
a handful of others. So the buying with no KYC from a bank account in Europe, the €5,000 a day, that one is only Bitcoin.
Oh, I can't put it straight into Dogecoin. My plans have
You
failed.
can't quite put it
$5,000 a day, Dogecoin.
What's the limit? What's the buying limit for Dogecoin daily? 10K.
Well, once you have Bitcoin, you can pretty much buy any amount of Dogecoin
okay.
with
Okay.
no
Any
limits.
amount you want.
Once you have Bitcoin, you have unlimited buying
Once
into
you're
other
in, you're
currencies.
free.
Like I'm gonna take thanks for watching me. I'm gonna take a small break and exit the stage.
All right. And
Just wanted to
makes
say,
sense.
interrupt the discussion and tell you
Paul,
that.
where can people learn more about Edge Wallet? Where can they try it out?
Pretty simply, edge.app.
All right.
So,
and it's
find
on the
everything over
Apple
there.
iStore. It's on the Amazon or Android.
The Amazon.
thing.
They don't have a store anymore for apps. They used to.
I
Right?
don't know. They used to. You have to. It has to be an Amazon branded app, I think.
Yeah. So
But-
yeah, Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and you can download it directly in case you got one of those phones that doesn't have Google's malware on it. You can download it directly, Android APK, right from edge.app.
Oh,
And-
nice.
And for GitHub, what's the link?
GitHub.com/edgeapp. So for all the code, it's all
All right.
there.
Cool. Thanks
Cool,
so
cool.
much, Paul, for the
Hey,
interview.
thanks for having me, guys. And if you
And-
aren't at Hackers Congress, then swing on by next year. For sure.
Yeah.
If you're
You
here,
catch
swing
everything
by
here.
the fishbowl.
Yes, if you are, swing by. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks so much.